welcome to our GTeX Member of the Month interview. Yeah, it was a bit rubbish. That's the coronavirus cheer, so let's... Welcome to the GTeX Member of the Month interview! Awesome! Now, this is an incredible time because the interview is going to be divided in two parts. First of all, we're going to celebrate a member that achieved incredible results in their business, or they achieved, or they overcome big challenges, and they came out on the other side. They saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And as well, there is going to be a chance after their recording to ask them questions. So that will be off the camera, and the recording is going live in our group, which is just a private clients group. So people that are not here can celebrate the GTeX Member of the Month with us. Now, the person that we chose for GTeX Member of the Month this month is someone that I've been seeing and I've been connecting with for about 3 years. And since joining GTeX, I've seen her growing in a way that really words can't explain. Not only on a confidence level, but also with her business. She now goes into the cover of magazines, speaking left, right, and center internationally, and she ran two different businesses. One which is in the corporate space, and also one which is helping entrepreneurs starting out and being more visible. Now, I was so impressed by this person that I asked her to join our team and become actually the main person delivering the Profile Builder program. So now maybe you have already a chance, you understand what I'm talking about. Please give a massive round of applause to Michelle Raymond! Hello. Hello. So when I asked her, oh, you're the GTeX Member of the Month, because she was going to leave, and I said, you're the GTeX Member of the Month. And she was like, who are you replacing me with? I'm like, no, you are the GTeX Member of the Month. So, well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
What I want to know from you, that's how we get started.
Okay.
How, in the past 2 years in particular, there's been a big shift in you. What was how did it happen?
Gosh, that's a big question.
It is. I know there are a lot of factors, but how did it happen?
How did it happen? I don't know. I committed to myself. And I've learnt the art of committing to myself. So for me, before I can tell anyone or encourage anyone else to do something, I have to make sure I've done it. And not everybody has that same philosophy or value, but that's one of my values. So even today I was talking to somebody and I said, I want to share something with you, but I don't want to share it until I've proven that it works. And if it works for me, then it can work for anybody else. Yeah. So I just like to experience, and I know I don't have to experience everything, but for me, in terms of my value of commitment and committing to myself and sticking to what I know is right and focusing, I need to do it, and then I can show everybody else how to do it.
Why is that important for you?
It's just one of the values that I've always had, and I'm of the school of thought. You can't be a money mindset coach if you're having struggles with money mindset. But at the same time, I have learnt to embrace that some people may not have experienced things themselves, but are very good at teaching others. So I've accepted that, but for me, it's just not one of my values.
Yeah, like leading by example for you is a must.
Definitely.
I think there are some, everyone who is listening right now is here. I can have that moment where we can say, actually, we have to show people and lead by example, because that's also what people are going to see in us. They're going to see a leader. Yeah. They're going to see someone that can do what they say they were going to do. Can you what I would love to know, and I know this is also an opportunity for everyone who is watching or everyone here to get to know you a bit better.
Okay.
And I know you, a few years ago, you had something that was very hard that you had to deal with.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more?
It was actually more than a few years ago, actually. So the reason why I do what I do, so I'm working on the Profile Builders program about ensuring that people get visible and that they get seen and heard, and because I believe that we're so skilled, we're so talented, we're so experienced, but if no one knows you, then it means nothing. So, and the reason why I'm so passionate about that is because it's actually 10 years ago now. So 10 years ago I was married to a gentleman, and I thought we were, lived this happy, idyllic life, house, 2 cars, everything was lovely. But I didn't realise that on the side he had a completely different life. And part of that different life was involved children, where he was accused and also found guilty of molesting and abusing children. So at the time when that happened, we were part of a big church, quite a big, well-known church, and we were quite visible in the church and visible in our work settings and everything. And when all this happened, it went to court, it was in the newspapers, it was on ITV News, so my local community knew about it. My daughter was quite young at the time, so we were visible for the wrong reasons. I was visible for the wrong reasons. And I was known as the wife of the paedophile. So when all this happened, it had an immense strain on me personally, on my family, because my mum's a registered foster carer, so it affected her livelihood, it affected me being a mother. So it had, detrimental effects. I fell into depression, and it affected my health a lot. But when I had that period of time where I had that shift, that trigger of change, and it happened when I was at church, and the pastor said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then I realised it's a mindset thing that I'm in, because I was holding myself responsible, because I had invited some of the girls to my house because they wanted to spend time with my daughter, and I didn't realise they were being abused in my kitchen. So I felt guilty as hell for all of this. And so, we're getting a bit emotional. So during that time, when I had that trigger for change, I made a commitment to myself that when I get out of all of this, I will never be invisible again, and I will be visible for the right reasons. Because I was singing at the time, and I sing for a lot of celebrities, and I stopped singing for all of those guys, and I just wasn't doing anything. And I promised myself, when I get out, if I can do it for myself, I'm going to bring everybody else out with me. So when I'm coming out of this, I'm coming out for everybody else as well. So that was the commitment and the mission I had for myself. So I do what I do, and I show up all the time, and I'm consistent, and yes, I've got a family, and yes, I have other things, but I made a commitment to myself all those years ago that I will let nothing and no one dim my light. Never. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you for sharing. We talk a lot about the importance of having a strong reason why. You definitely had a very strong reason why. And for everyone that is in that situation, that will struggle to commit to themselves, because we've all been in a situation where we said, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to myself, this is my year, this is my thing. And then we let ourselves down.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to commit more to themselves, what is your biggest piece of advice based on what you had to do to work on yourself?
Do you know what? You have to remember why you started. And so many people's why are other people, which is fine. So people's why might be their children, but it's not even my daughter, because I know the why has to be for me. And then so when I fix up and come correct, my daughter sees that, because my daughter learns by what I do, not by what I say. So I have to show her, this is what it looks like, this is what resilience looks like, this is what determination looks like. So I always have to remember, so the times when I don't want to show up on camera and the hair isn't right and all of those things, I keep making mistakes. And I put this video up of showing all the times it takes me to do one video.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody says to me, oh, Michelle, you look so good, how do you show up? But I said, let me show you behind the scenes. So I recorded all the time I made mistakes. But I pushed through, and I keep thinking, if I give up, then I'm giving other people permission to give up. But I want them to see that although it's 5-6 takes, I got it finally. And if I can push through, then they find that glimmer of hope, then, oh God, if Michelle can do it, I can do it. And that's, I think, remembering your why and why you do it.
Yeah.
What's the end result? It pushes you.
That's for everyone here, is like, that's the thing that is gonna get you to push through no matter what. Because things are going to get tough in one point or the other. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's more difficult. But if you have that commitment to yourself and you show up understanding that what you do gives permission to other people being themselves. I mean, we saw Caroline before. I think it was a brilliant example of her being unapologetically herself, here facilitating something new in a new dynamic, in a new environment, but do it in her own way. And that gives permission to other people to do it in their own way. So whatever you do, remember that other people need to see something, to have that permission, either to sell more, or to be more visible, or to say what they think, or just to maybe take it easier in their life. Whatever you believe in, share it and show it by example, because you give permission to others that need to see that message to apply that to their own life. Now, you mentioned before you sing for celebrities,
I do.
And so tell us a bit more for everyone that doesn't know about your singing career.
Okay, so I love the singing I do, because it's such a world away from the corporate stuff that I do, and it just makes me a bit more human. So I do lots of singing, and so more recently I sang on the Brit Awards, just gone, with Stormzy. And that was a brilliant experience, absolutely brilliant experience.
How was that? Tell us how did you feel in that moment?
Do you know what? So we had all the production rehearsals. So we had vocal rehearsals, then we had production rehearsals, and he wasn't there yet. But when he came in, and he's only 26, right? But it's just that, once again, it's about presence. When he came in, we were just like all in awe. And to think that this 26-year-old from South London is now the world's most popular male artist, it just blows your mind. And once again, seeing somebody do that, you just think to yourself, oh my God, I can do something as well. And it's always a reminder. So that experience. But I've sang with like Kylie Minogue. What's that man? What's that man called?
You were singing with him.
James Brown.
James Brown. Okay.
James Brown. Yeah. So James Brown. Kylie Minogue. My biggest claim to fame is I sang for the Pope at World Youth Day, and I was like, I could almost touch him. This is how close I was. So yeah, it's a good, it's good fun, and it just gives me a bit of balance when I'm there firing people on one hand, and then I can go and sing for celebrity on the other hand. Yeah.
I remember when you told me who was involved at the Brit Award at the gig, that you had some interesting connections that made that possible.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell?
Okay, which one did I tell? I've got loads of.
Well, the one at the Brit Award.
Yeah.
I think I remember you mentioned about the people that were doing the staging.
Oh yes. Oh
right?
yeah.
So
okay.
that's an interesting.
Really
That's
weird.
an interesting part of the story. I was blown away.
Right. So this is just to tell you all, in every aspect and walk of your life, you just don't know who is connected to who, and always treat people with respect that you would want yourself. So the weird thing is that, So I was singing at the Brit Awards for Stormzy. The people that do the staging for Stormzy and also do it at O2 and for Glastonbury are my HR clients. So the weird thing is, the Tuesday we did the Brit Awards, and at the end of his performance, rain came down from all of these, from the ceiling basically. And all the performers were soaking wet. So that was part of the performance, and the song was called Rain On Me. So we got rained on. So we were wondering, why is the rain still going? Because in the rehearsals, it was much shorter, yeah? And I remember wearing my shower cap in the rehearsal, but I had to take it off for the whole thing, and I'm thinking, why? And I strategically, because in the rehearsal, I was standing in the middle because I wanted to be seen. But I thought, no, I'm going to get too wet. So on the day, I'm going to stand in the corner. So I stood in the corner. I'm thinking, am I still getting wet? So the day later, I went to see my client in Potter's Bar, and they said, "Oh, Michelle, we were doing the staging yesterday for Stormzy," and I said, "Oh my God, I was there. I was singing." And I asked him what happened, and he said there was a malfunction in the system, and that's why it kept raining on us when it was meant to stop. But I say this to tell you that I was there for one thing, and then my client is the people who are doing the staging. We are so all interconnected, and I'm so glad that just as I respect them as stagers, I can respect somebody else as a singer, somebody else as a cleaner. We just treat everybody the same, and I think, it was so weird. Like, I was there with you yesterday, you were doing the staging, and I'm the singer. It was like weird.
Weird, surreal.
Proper weird, surreal.
Which is interesting to look at how things connect. Yeah. I'm sure that if you look at everything that you're doing, you might be connected to people that can open doors, open opportunities, or look at some interesting things that happen. And I believe that those things happen for a reason. Really believe that. Every time I want to make a decision, I'm following the dots. I remember once my first speaking training, I was 23, and I forked out 30 grand for the speaking training and business training. I had 400 quid in my bank account, so negotiated a very long payment plan. And the trainer took a pound on me, but I was committed and paid it off.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be where I am without that training. Now, what was interesting, the thing that made me confident in making that decision is because the people that I wanted to be connected with, they were all part of that community. There were some weird connection of people that I met randomly in other places that somehow they came together there. Mm-hmm. So in my heart, I knew it was the right decision, even if logically it didn't make sense. When I told my mom, I was like, I spent 30 grand in the speaking course. She was like, speaking what? Speaking completely. My mom is there in Italy. I at the time, I was a waiter working in restaurants. So it's like, what did you do? But I knew it was the right decision. So it's about like looking at what are the things that the patterns are saying.
Definitely.
So last question, and then we are going to stop the recording and open up questions for everyone. Is what is now like one thing that you're working on at the moment? One thing that you are saying, this is what I want to build right now.
That's interesting. So I've got the HR consultancy, and I definitely want to find a partner who wants to help run that, so I can do less of that, and I can focus on where my passion is, where it is working with you guys and making sure you get seen, heard, and get visible. So that's my passion. The HR, I do it because I can, and I've done it for years. But I'm really enjoying the space. I'm doing lots more training at the moment, and I can see where the impact is in that field as well. So I want to definitely do more training, probably even open up like my own training academy. I would love to do something like that. And then I've got other trainers in the room, put you on my books, give you work, yeah. So that's what I would love to do. But you know what, I'm not, although I'm good at planning, I don't plan like 10 years. I want to also live in the present, and so I give myself 12-month plans, and this is what I want to do in the next 12 months, and then the next 12 months, because then I achieve it, because like we had our mastermind session, And one of the things that came out is that I should put a membership group, and I've committed to that. And when I went to the loo, I just emailed my web designer and said, right, we're doing a membership and it's launching in June.
Talking about taking action immediately.
Yeah, I do take action immediately. But that's what I want to do. So that's around training and still doing the public speaking stuff.
Wow, you will, like in anything, you will be amazing at that. Definitely, that's your genius. That's your thing. So looking forward to see how that's going to develop. Now, give please a massive round of applause to Michelle Raymond.